Hello, my name is David Webb, and this is a video for Dweebovision. I am a Scrabble grandmaster, and in this video I am going to play Scrabble while providing in-game commentary on my moves. Hopefully this will help to improve your game, and be fun to watch. The game has just started, so let's join the action. My opponent's gone first with Fug. I have an atrocious rack, apart from the blank and the E, which are really good tiles, so I'm going to change. The U and the W and the triplicate I are just all awful. No need to keep any of those. And that is much better. Pretty sure I have a bingo here. Sepia is good, and Fugs is good. So that can play in column 10. Reprieve is good, which is playable in column 7. Right, that's quite blocky. Veg takes an A after it. Now, looking at this, Sepia does still play, and it's quite good because it ends in row N and it doesn't take anything after it. So I'm just wondering if I do have a bingo with an A, the blank as an A, which I could play underneath and parallel to Fug. Well, maybe I do. Gosh. Okay, I don't think I do. I was thinking of Epi, Ira, but that's not giving me any confidence, so I'm going to go with the certain bingo. This is a good start. Always a bit lucky getting a bingo on your opening rack. Happens about one game in 7 or 8. Now, I don't have a 7 here, but jostling is good, and I think joltings is good, so I'm looking for a floating T. I do not get one. I don't think I have a bingo through the floaters in Sepia. Okay, so I am looking to score, and I'm looking to get my J on a double letter square and then to get that doubled. So I'm looking at L8 and M9, and M9 is much better because my opponent can't then access the triple word square at 08. So do I have a bingo beginning JE? No, I don't think I do. I certainly do want to play off the J because the rest of the rack is pretty good. So what about placing the J at L8? JO1 joins. 40 points, playing off JONS, keeping LIG. Pretty awful rack leave. But 40 points is a lot. And I don't have an E on my rack, so whatever I played is not going to leave a fabulous rack lead. I'm wondering about placing my J on the triple letter square at J6, playing across to the E of Sepia. But Jingle starts one square too short. Joling is good. I could play that in row E, making GI. That's worth considering. 31 points. And it retains the S, so I am attracted to this. No regrets about playing off the rest of the tiles on my rack. They're pretty neutral or bad. Joling, 31 points. And with an S, I don't mind having lots of floaters on the board. Great. I thought for a moment I'd retained the blank, but I had a blank on my first rack, which I've played, and I've been fortunate enough to draw a second blank. I've got the Q, which is non-bingo-y. I'm with the blank as a U. I can't see a 7 or 8 letter bingo, so I'm looking to get rid of the Q, and certainly an I as well. The U in Fugs is inaccessible. So now through an A I would have Cade or Caddy, so I could play Cade at C6 down, but that would retain a duplicate I, and I do not want to do that. Priority is sorting out this rack, and I can do that by playing Chi across here. It retains the Y, which is non-bingo-y, but I can't see a way of playing off the Q and the Y. I'm just pausing in case there's a better spot for chi, or an N available for chin, and I can't see anywhere. Pretty good. Toadyism is good through an A or an M. Neither is available right now. Styloid is good. Okay, well that looks promising, and that plays at C6 across, making S-A-I. Actually plays at C5 across, making Sal and Tay. So styloid. What's tempting is the double word square at C3. Mo takes an A in front. Well, that should be quite easy to resolve. I can't see a play with the blank as an A, so I'm not going to waste my time. So styloid at C5 looks like it's best. Doesn't hit a double word square. Do I have anything through the X? I have the DYS beginning. Don't think dystoxic is good. Dystocia is good, but that doesn't use an X. I think cystoid is good, but Pax takes nothing after it. In which case, styloid looks best, and this does at least double the Y. I think styloid takes an S. I'm not 100% sure. This provides a hotspot for the board at B10 for a high-scoring tile on the triple letter square running across to the double word square at B14. Let's see who's first to get that. Pretty good. I do have the W and the U, but I have the N to help with the U, so unlower. Well, that's not good. But it doesn't feel a million miles away from a bingo. Unfortunately, I do not have a high-scoring tile to go at B10. So what photos are there? There's the D of dough. Can't see anything there. There's the R of sepia. No. And the E of sepia. Well, nothing there. I can't take advantage of B10 with a high-scoring tile. So what about playing through the X? I don't have the A for playing Raxel. I'd like to play off the W and the U, but I don't have the tiles for Wuxia. Gosh. Well, what about this? Low across here. The L's not a particularly dangerous tile. 30 points is a big score, and although I'm retaining the U, I'm retaining the N to go with it. It's actually quite a balanced leave, ENRU. And with B10 still available as a hotspot, I'm less worried about opening up another hotspot at H1. Ooh. Scrabble feels a cruel game. You keep a balanced rack, and it's only got a small number of tiles, and the number of times you duplicate those tiles feels like that it's more than just chance, but it is just chance. I've got Lunia at G1 down. That resolves the duplicate N and U, keeping UN. 21 points. With only single point tiles, there's not a lot I can't expect a lot more than that. Now my opponent's played Exact for 28. Exact takes an A and an S after it. So that's quite a good reason to play Lunia. Playing off a lot of tiles increases my chances of drawing an A. My opponent may not know that Exact takes an A, although you can never be sure. And he may not wish to burn an S in that spot, because it's not a bingo lane. So Lunia for 21 points. I don't draw an A, and this is a fairly wretched rack. I was just looking at that spot myself for a word like donut, which does actually play at A11. That's a stroke of good fortune. But before I play that, do I have a bingo? I've got the out prefix. And there's no floating E for an ED ending, and I can't see an 8-letter word ending ED anyway. I've got the oid ending, keeping dunt, can't see anything there. Okay, Can't see much. This is quite a dangerous row, and this is going to sort my rack out, play off a lot of tiles, and score half decently, I think. Donut, 33 points. Ah, much better. I feel very close to a bingo here. Do I actually have one? It's the duplicate I and the vowel preponderance which dampens my ardour in respect to this rack. But is there something there? Well, through a B I would have diatribe, but there are very few floaters on this board. So there's the R of sepia for a word ending in R. So try adia, but that's not ringing any bells. I do have the A for going underneath exact, so if I can't see a bingo, I ought to be able to score there. So I could play, well, I was going to say add, but that's not quite right. I want the A immediately underneath exact, and I want to play off one of the I's. So I could play aid, A-I-D-E. 34 points, that's not bad. Except it would be bad if I'm overlooking a bingo, am I? Well, if there is, it starts with the U of fugs. Pretty sure there isn't one. Or it ends with the E and the R of sepia, or begins with one of the floaters in lunia. The I, the E, the R. No, I can't see anything there. Now, there's only 3 E's left, and aid burns one of them, and it also places an E at O15, which is useful for my opponent playing a bingo ending in an E. So I would like to improve. So do I have an alternative play which makes exacta? This is what I'm looking at. An A here. Gosh. So I've got aid. Well, et. Et is good. Problem with this play is that it keeps a preponderance of vowels, but have a look at the vowels that are left. There are only 3 E's, and that's a good vowel, and there's only 1 I. Only 2 O's, only 1 U, so there's not actually a great number of vowels left. Let me just count them. 9 vowels out of 31 tiles, so actually this rack leave is good. Great. Having checked that there were very few vowels, I draw only consonants. Now, what do I have? Looking at the scores, I'm 90 points ahead. Moore takes an N after it. It might also take an R. I have an N. Do I have a bingo? There is the E of sepia. Denticle. Wonderful. I have missed denticle before and been hurt. It's really one of the frustrations of Scrabble is that when you miss a word and you vow that you won't miss it again, you may wait years or forever to get the opportunity. But denticle is certainly a word I've missed before. A better play would be a 7-letter play making mourn, but I don't think there is a 7 with these tiles. That's pretty good. It's not bingo-y, but I'm 170 points ahead, and I've got the B and the H for score, and I'm not experiencing a vowel shortage, which my opponent could well be. There are only 4 vowels out of 17 unseen tiles. Yep, that's fine. And I still have an N for placing after more. 8 tiles left. Can't see anything beginning with the N or beginning on, or N, so nothing I can do there. I could play hoi, H-O-I, at M13 down. 28 points, that's a good score, and I'm retaining 3 vowels. Anything better? I am providing an opportunity for my opponent in playing this, as in a bingo lane in column 14, but if my opponent takes that he'll be opening up column 15 and he's not going to win anyway. So Hoy is that best. Now I could play Hugh at L4 across. Maybe that's better. Let's just have a look at Hugh across here. So it's taking out the floaters in identical, so it has safety over Hoy. 26 points, only 2 points less, and the rack leave feels better. Provided I've got vowels, the U is not a vowel I would like to keep. Now, am I missing somewhere amazing for my H? No. I didn't consider dentical in row J, but that doesn't get doubled. But I should certainly have considered it and rejected it. Well, I've still got my N for Morn. Key Bob is good. Only takes an S after it. 3 tiles left. I've got 6 minutes on my clock. Now, can I play Knob somewhere? That would resolve the duplicate B. This is quite a clunky rack with 4 high-scoring tiles. It's good to have high-scoring tiles at the end of the game, but not too many of them. So I'm looking to play off, well, 2 or 3, but I think 2 is probably the most I can hope to play off. HE doesn't take any tile that I've got in front of it, so I can't really play at K5 across. 5.5 minutes left. What can I do? Well, I could play Knob at C14, and the advantage of this is that it stops my opponent playing a bingo with an S. There are 2 S's unseen. He's probably got one. He's played for only 5 points, setting up column 15 for a word with an S in it. So even though this doesn't reach the triple word square, it's doing a good job in crushing my opponent's hopes of bingoing. I am emptying the bag. Ooh. Okay. It doesn't really matter. Looking at the scores, I'm nearly 200 points ahead. So I am going to win this game. I can play Zell at A8 down for 33 points. On my rack, I have Fez and Prez. Not sure if there's anywhere to play them. Well, there is. There's Prez at K5 across. Wow. Over 40 points. Great. Now, I can see what my opponent's got on his rack. Does he have a bingo? Well, it's possible he doesn't. Even if he does, I don't think it will play anywhere. The floating G of CAG doesn't help his rack. I think Elogists may be good, but that doesn't play. He could have a bingo in column 15, putting the S after utilising the T of it for an IEST ending. Lossiest requires 3 S's, so he hasn't quite got that. My opponent has 16 minutes on his clock, so he's not short of time. But given my large spread, I'm not going to dwell very long after my opponent has played. Now, IF takes an F after it, so I can place my F at I7. Can't see a good way of playing off my Z. If my opponent doesn't go out in 1, he's going to go out in 2. So I'd be very surprised if the best play doesn't involve playing my Z somewhere. So is there anywhere for my Z that I haven't considered? I've got Zell at A8, I've got Prez at K5. I can't see anywhere for Fez. I note that my F can also go at J2, but Fez doesn't play in that spot. Now, my opponent has got 50 minutes left. I can't see anything else for me to consider on this board, so I think what I'll do is I'll pause until he makes his move. That usually encourages him to make the move straight away. Welcome back. My opponent has not played. He's now in overtime and he's about to incur a 10-point penalty and forfeit the game, which is what has happened. So the final score is 222 to my opponent, 427 to me, a winning margin of 205 points. Let's see what I missed. Right, as my opponents go first, he played Fug, I changed, and I could have played Wifey for 13, keeping IU blank. Probably pretty close, but with the blank you're looking to play a bingo, and a U is a really dead tile, really un-bingo-y tile, so I think changing is equivalent or better. This is where I played Sepia at H10, that's the higher scoring bingo. I could have also played Weepia at I2. Okay, underneath Fug, but stopping one short of Vega, so there wasn't one running underneath the entirety of Fug. Great, I didn't miss a bingo with this rack. Joling was playable at L7. Well, that's not where I played it. Well, I played it at E3 for one more point. Is it worth sacrificing a point to retain an I? Possibly. Possibly. Not much in that, though. Chi for 18 at G6, that's what I played. So, what did I play with this rack? Styloid at C6 for 64. I could have got 95 points at L7. Ooh, painful. Through the eye of Sepia running underneath Pax. Well, I didn't consider that floater. I certainly should have done. There's a big difference between 95 and 64 points, so that was an expensive miss. And there were several other better bingos than Styloid. Low for 30 at G1, that's what I played. Looks fine. Lunia was my play at G1, I think that also looks fine. I played Donut at A11, and that looks best. Now this is where I played Ert for 31. I could have got 6 more points by playing Radii, and although the rack leave looks better, ET compared to DEI, there was a vowel shortage, so it's not clear that Radii is better. But I didn't consider Radii, and I should have done. This is where I am glad that I saw Dentical, having missed it many years ago, and Dentical was the only playable bingo, but playable in 2 spots. Hugh at L4. Yep, I think that was my play. Yep, that looks fine. And this is where I played Knob. Wow, where did I miss Keybob for 72? Gosh. Oh, Mork. Gosh. Ooh, well, that was an expensive miss. Keybob and Mork. Wow. Just goes to show you, I really did not think that I had missed an immense play on this move, and I did. Fortunately, it didn't cost me the game. Let's see what my opponent had with his final rack that he didn't play. Well, he didn't have a bingo, and most of his moves were fairly low scoring. And he didn't play, so there's no other moves for me to consider. So that was actually quite a similar game to the previous one. I had both blanks, I played 2 early bingos, I established a good lead, and then I played a further bingo which consolidated the lead. Those are fairly stress-free games, but as you can see, I did make misses. Solidity was a big miss, cost over 30 points, and Keybob probably cost a similar amount. So in terms of equity loss, that was probably quite a poor game. Fortunately, sometimes when you play a poor game, you have the comfort of having won the game, so you haven't had to pay for your lessons. So I hope that was of interest to you and you had fun watching it. My name is David Webb. This has been a video for Dweebovision.